YouTube goers? Welcome to my channel, Baking and Buttercream. Today we're making Spider-Man donuts in honor of Spider-Man Far From Home coming out. So let's take a break and bake. The ingredients you need are 2½ cups of all-purpose flour, 3/4 cup of warm milk, 3 tablespoons of sugar, 2 egg yolks, 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 1/4 teaspoon of active dry yeast, half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, a 1/4 teaspoon of almond extract, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. For decoration you need 1 cup of powdered sugar, 2 tablespoons of water, black royal icing, white royal icing, and red food coloring. Okay, so now that we got all our ingredients, we're going to go ahead and start making these donuts. But the first thing that we're going to make is actually one of the decoration pieces for the donuts because it's made out of royal icing. And royal icing has to set for a long time for it to completely set up and harden. So we're going to be making Spider-Man's eyes out of royal icing. I made this template of Spider-Man's eyes and then I just put a piece of parchment on top of that. And I'm using my black royal icing to go on the outer parts of the eyes. And then I'm using my white icing to fill in that gap that it made. You can also use a toothpick to help move your icing. That way it's all nice and even. You can actually find this template down below in the description box if you also want to make these amazing Spider-Man donuts. Get it? Because there's the amazing Spider-Man. And then what we're going to do, we're going to just let these eyes sit and harden for 6 to 8 hours or overnight. I normally make them and let them sit overnight. That way they're completely set up and hardened so I can use them for the donuts. Now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and start making the dough for the donuts. So what you're going to do, you're going to make sure that your milk is at 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Once it's at 100 degrees, pour it into a bowl, and then you're going to add your yeast and sugar. Once the sugar has dissolved into the milk, you're going to let that mixture sit for 10 minutes. After that 10 minutes, the yeast will look very puffy and frothy, and that's good. And what we're going to go ahead and do now is add in our 2 egg yolks, our butter, almond extract, and vanilla extract. So now mix that all together. It's okay if the butter is not fully incorporated just yet, because that will get it mixed in through the kneading and all that other process, because we still have a lot more mixing to go. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is add in half of our flour into this mixture and mix that up. And then you're going to go ahead and add your salt in after you mixed in half of your flour. You do not want to add your salt in right away because the salt will kill your yeast and you do not want that. After you mix the salt in, go ahead and add the rest of your flour and mix that up until it's all well combined. And guys, remember, with great flour comes great responsibility. So once that flour is all mixed in, you're just going to go ahead and turn the bowl upside down onto a floured surface, and you're going to go ahead and start kneading the dough. You're going to knead the dough for a few minutes and until it's a nice smooth texture, and you can press into the dough with your finger and the dough will rise back up. So now what we're going to do, we're going to take our nice little dough ball and we're going to go ahead and grease a nice big bowl, and then we're going to put the little dough ball inside of the bowl. So cover it with a towel and put it in a dry place and let it set for about 1.5 hours or until it's doubled in size. Now what you're going to do after the 1.5 hours that it's been resting, you're going to go ahead and plop it out of the bowl onto a nice floured surface and just punch out some of those air bubbles. And then what you're going to go ahead and do is roll it out to a 1/2 inch thickness. After you get it to about 1/2 inch thickness, take your trusty circle cookie cutter and cut out some circles out of the donut dough and then set those onto a tray. Once you're all done cutting all your donuts out of the dough and they're on the tray, those donuts are also going to take another nap for about 20 to 30 minutes because we're going to let them proof for just a little bit more. After those 30 minutes, they should have frozen just a little bit more. They look nice and fluffy, and we're going to go ahead and start frying them. We're going to do this on the stove. I just have a pot filled with some oil, and you want the oil to be at 350 degrees. So once your oil is at 350, go ahead and put your donut into the oil. The donut should cook for about 1 to 2 minutes on each side, and after the donut is completely cooked, take it out of the oil and put it onto a plate with paper towels. That way the paper towel can soak up all that oil. And so continue doing this with the rest of your donuts and let those cool. Now, while those are cooling, we're gonna go ahead and make our glaze for these donuts because you can't have a donut without glaze. So to make the glaze, you're gonna add your powdered sugar and your water and mix that up. You can add a little bit more water if necessary to make it runnier, or more powdered sugar to make it thicker. And then what you're gonna go ahead and do, once you've got the consistency that you want, go ahead and add your red food coloring into that mixture and let that mix up for just a little longer until everything's a nice, perfect red color. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a cool donut and put it onto a wire rack with a bowl underneath, and we're taking just a little measuring scoop and just drizzle that nice, delicious glaze on top of the donut and just let it drip off the sides into the bowl. Keep doing this with the rest of your donuts, and you don't want to waste any glaze because that stuff, it's delicious. So once all your donuts are glazed, you're gonna want those to go ahead and harden, and then after they've hardened, you're gonna take your black royal icing and you're gonna go ahead and pipe on the cobweb design that's on Spider-Man's mask. It's a little difficult, but practice makes perfect. So just practice a couple times and then try it on the donuts. After you've done the royal icing cobweb design, now go ahead and take your Spider-Man eyes that are now all hardened because you made them the night before, hopefully, and put those onto the donuts. And there you go, you got your Spider-Man donuts in honor of Spider-Man Far From Home. Thank you for watching this video of me making Spider-Man Far From Home donuts. So if you like this video, click one of these two videos right here. The top one YouTube recommends, I recommend this bottom one that's down here. And click the baking and buttercream icon over here to subscribe to my channel. Alright guys, have a great day.